I think the kids have had a good week this week and really what we did last week. And obviously, really good Ohio State football team we're going to be playing, and we're excited for it.
And what's the hype going into this week?
Get to play another game.
Everything.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, there'll be a buzz around campus and the city and state, and love that. But I think for us, it's the buzz is we get to play Ohio State, and you know, we were off last week. It was good for us to be off, but this group likes to play football, you know, so I think the opportunity to play, and that's the buzz inside. I know that much.
Well, we haven't talked about their punter much, Johnston. What kind of a weapon and challenge is he, and what does he present?
Well, I think the challenge is he's, you know, we haven't seen a true, you know, he was doing both, but last game he was a little bit more rugby, and he is a talent, you know, and you see sometimes, you know, in the rugby kickers you see it's kind of those low, trying to get the bouncers, and he's, he can hang it up there. It's got distance, and you know, when they do that, they can extend. Really, the operation times can be a little bit longer, and therefore your guys can, you know, they can cover, you know. So it's different than what we've faced. So that's the challenge, you know, and so that's just kind of cool. Each week, each team presents a little bit something different, and our guys like preparing, you know, and they want to know and what can we do to give ourselves the best chance, and then but you got to go out and then play the game.
I don't know if you remember, but when you first arrived, Garrett Dooley was still a little banged up, but he was at defensive end. What led to, whether it was Dave's suggestion or your suggestion, moving him back to outside linebacker? How did that play out?
Well, I think it was a number of, he was injured, you know, I didn't know, you know, when we came back, you know, where numbers were and all that, we had him at outside backer, and I didn't really know till that he even had, because I remember talking to him earlier, what do you play, and certainly Dave was a part of it, and Tibbs, you know, we kind of looking at it, and I was surprised that he was, you know, he'd been trying to put on weight, and I've loved seeing his progression, physically what he was able to do, and like anyone, when they work, and then they gain confidence from that work, and then, you know, he's put himself in opportunities to make plays, you know, special teams last year, and then this year playing, and then he gets an opportunity, you know, Vince goes down. It's been neat to see his growth, and you appreciate that. I think guys like playing with him. You know, it's been pretty fun.
Coach, I think you mentioned earlier this week that you were involved in the first night game here at Camp Randall, or one of the first when you were a player.
I think it might have been one of them first, yeah.
Was the atmosphere surrounding a night game as good back then as it is now? Did it kind of develop over time? And people seem to get really excited for night games, you know, big night games at Camp Randall.
I think there was a good buzz around that one. I think because it was, I don't know, like statistically if I'm right, Jake could correct me. The Michigan game, was that the first night game?
Seems like it.
Yeah. So I think there was the novelty. I remember when the first night game for the Cubs, you know, I mean, Cubs fans probably loved it, right? And then, you know, whenever you have a big game, there's a real good buzz. And so, you know, I've been lucky to be a part of those, and some I wasn't, you know, but it's, I love playing in Camp Randall.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Ohio State's rush attack, the fact that we have about 3 guys that are putting up really good numbers midway through the season, and what type of challenge that's going to be, and are you going to try to make them more one-dimensional with maybe in their passing game, which they've kind of struggled?
Yeah, we would be the first defense to try to do that. We're cutting edge right there. They're really good, and I've said this and really believe it. You know, the bigger the challenge, that's a bigger opportunity, right? And every game we play, it's, you know, can we stop the run first? And that's no different. And now how they get to it and how they run the ball and what they do, each team's different, you know, and this is a really good offense. You know, I think JT Barrett does a great job of running the offense. And so, you know, our formula, you know, I was asked that earlier, You know, what's the key? The key is playing good football. The key to winning games is playing good football. There's no secret. You all have seen enough games and watched it. You know, there's going to be times when you got to win the one-on-one battles, and you look at it and say that play made the difference. And so I think the same with stopping their run game. It's a really good running game. You know what? We've got to all do our assignment, and you know, you get a chance to tackle. You got to tackle. Some of those tackles will be one-on-ones. You know, you got to do it. You got to do all that. So I think it's our approach. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. You know, and I don't think that is the game. There is no magic to playing this game. You got to go play it and play it the right way, and that's what I like about this group. They get that, and they look forward to playing the game.
You mentioned JT. How special of a player is he? Is he a different type of quarterback than you guys have seen all year?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I don't know if we've seen a quarterback quite like him this year. I think he's a really good player. He's obviously, right? They got a really good offense, and every play goes through him. And from what you read about and hear about, you know, tremendous leader, teammate, and all that. But he's a really good quarterback.